Goes around, comes around.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, when you look at the calendar, it's amazing, but it's been now a little over a month since Sandy slammed into our region, and yet, as many of you know all too well, normalcy is very much elusive for a lot of folks here, especially on the coast in our region. Take the Statue of Liberty here, a New York landmark, still closed. It will remain closed indefinitely as workers repair the damage. That's just a single example of how life interrupted when the hurricane came through. Now, Andrew, he rejoins us to bring us up to date on recovery efforts and snapshots of them throughout the region.
And the process as well, Rich. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo made his first gubernatorial official visit to D.C. today to lobby for federal aid for victims of the storm. His visit comes just as the White House is finalizing a request to Congress for emergency federal aid for storm-ravaged states. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg made a similar visit last week. This morning, Representative Tom Reed of Corning, New York, said in a conference call that House Republicans will want all the emergency spending to be justified, but he's still optimistic that the funding will be approved. Senator Charles Schumer echoed that sentiment over the weekend when he told reporters that he's optimistic New York State will get the $41.5 billion it has now requested. He said the aid package will likely go through even if Congress cannot reach a deal on the fiscal cliff. Over in Staten Island, things just keep going from bad to worse for one man and his family. Anthony Morato is a 9/11 first responder. During the storm, his own home was ruined, but he spent his days rescuing and helping his neighbors. The donated wood he received to keep them warm he gave to his neighbors. When that neighbor's house caught fire, he jumped into action to help save them, sustaining burns to his back and eye. He and his friends were able to nearly rebuild his home, but then his own home caught fire and burned down. Meanwhile, delayed FEMA paperwork forced him, his pregnant wife, and his 2-year-old daughter out of their home. They are currently staying in an apartment in Brooklyn. Across the Hudson, there has been a wake-up call over at New Jersey Transit. Only a few months before Sandy, state officials were so confident that the commuter trains were protected from extreme weather, they decided it wasn't necessary to study the ways to weatherproof the system. Why passenger car safety was never analyzed is one of the many, many questions that New Jersey Transit will now face in the coming weeks as elected officials get ready for hearings on the agency's preparedness in the buildup to Sandy. And for one high school football team, perseverance means more than going for that touchdown. After Sandy, a quarter of Manhattan's Xavier High School football team, 11 teammates, ended up in temporary housing. One of the players even saved his own family members.
I actually got my grandma out. He put her on a kayak and he brought her to the corner, and he actually pushed me, my grandma, and my dog in the kayak 5 blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, in the freezing cold waters.
The sister of one of the players, and despite that hardship this week, they still played over the weekend against St. John the Baptist. And Rich, they won the game.
And I saw the piece about that team. It was amazing, and so many of the kids on the teams have families of dad, uncle, grandfather in the fire department, or guys that had family members in the job in the police department, or whatever the case may be. So many of them were in the in the life-saving business, and yet they find themselves on that end of it. All right, I want to turn to a different story, also of perseverance, and also in the face of hardship. On Friday night, friends and family of a beloved Army major who graduated from West Point, they gathered to rename a local hockey rink in his honor. He was killed during a suicide attack August 8th in Kunar Province, Afghanistan. He was 35 years of age, and he leaves behind a wife and a set of twins. Our reporter Kim Lengel, she was at the dedication, and she joins us with more.
30 little boys, right hands on their hearts. Squirt hockey players ages 9 and 10, paying tribute to a man who skated the same ice for more than 10 years.
We all grew up playing here probably since we were 3 years old. Probably spent, 3 to 4 days a week here, including practices and games, and some of us haven't been back here in a while, and it's overwhelming how amazing the feeling is that this is now going to be named after my brother. It's incredible.
Sportorama is a special place for our family, for my brother John and Tommy, so it's tough, it's bittersweet. The sweet part is to be back and to have my family here, and obviously we're missing one in Tommy, but I know he's looking down on us, and he's tapping heaven's blue line now as we speak.
Before his deployment in Afghanistan, Army Major Thomas Kennedy served 2 tours in Iraq from 2003 to 2006. Upon his return, Kennedy was selected to become a tactical officer at West Point. He earned dozens of awards and service medals, including 2 Bronze Star medals and a Purple Heart awarded after his death. Thomas's brother George, now with kids of his own, coaches the New Jersey Colonials, and his son wears Uncle Tommy's old number 14.
This allows me to keep Tommy's spirit alive and keep his legacy alive.
30 little boys from both teams looked on and waited for the special moment. Named in his honor, the U.S. Army Major Thomas E. Kennedy Memorial Rink.
First a saint, then a hero, now an angel. Killed in action August 8, 2012 in Afghanistan. Never forget.
Army Major Thomas Kennedy, he's buried in the Post Cemetery at West Point, and a trust fund has been set up for his 2 children. All right, we're going to wrap things up here. A special ceremony last night in our nation's capital. We'll take you there. Please stay with us.